Living alone has its perks. The silence, the solitude. You can leave your socks wherever you want, and no one complains. For the first few months in my new house, it was perfect. An old single-story bungalow nestled at the edge of a quiet, forgotten town. It was just me, the whispering wind, and the creaks and groans of a house settling into its bones. I got used to those sounds. They became a sort of company. Then, one night, a new sound joined the chorus. It was faint at first, barely there, a soft thud. I paused, my fork hovering halfway to my mouth, probably a branch hitting the roof. I dismissed it and went back to my dinner. But then it came again. Thud, thud, it wasn't a branch. It was heavier, slower, rhythmic. It sounded exactly like footsteps. Heavy, deliberate footsteps, right above my head. I froze, every muscle in my body tensing. My gaze slowly drifted upwards to the smooth plaster ceiling of my living room. Above that ceiling, there was nothing but a low-pitched roof and empty attic space. There was no second floor, there were no stairs, there was nowhere for anyone to walk. My heart started hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I told myself I was tired, my mind playing tricks on me. Houses make noises. That's all it was. But the footsteps came back the next night, and the night after that, always around midnight. They'd start at one end of the house and slowly, methodically walk to the other. A heavy, dragging sound, like someone was pulling a great weight. I started to dread the setting of the sun. The peaceful silence I once cherished had become a tense waiting game. I tried everything to rationalize it. Raccoons on the roof. I checked. The roof was clean. Faulty plumbing. I had a plumber come out. He found nothing. My friends thought I was losing it. "It's an old house, man," they'd say. "You're just stressed." But they weren't the ones sitting in the dead of night, listening to the impossible march of unseen feet. I started sleeping with headphones on, blasting music to drown it out. But sometimes, in the brief silence between songs, I'd hear it thud, thud. It was as if it was waiting for me to listen. One evening, I decided I'd had enough. I couldn't live in fear in my own home. Armed with a heavy flashlight and a baseball bat, I waited. Midnight struck. The air grew cold, and then it began. Thud, thud, right on cue. But this time, something was different. The sound wasn't just above me. It was lower, closer. I held my breath, listening. The sound wasn't coming from the ceiling anymore. It was coming from the living room floor. My eyes darted down to the old hardwood beneath my feet. Thud, thud. The sound was moving, pacing back and forth, right in the room with me. But there was nothing there, just empty space. My blood ran cold. The floorboards didn't even creak. I scrambled back onto the sofa, pulling my feet up, my mind reeling. How? How was this possible? The footsteps I'd been hearing for weeks, They weren't coming from an imaginary upstairs, they were coming from the floor itself. It wasn't a ghost walking on a second story that didn't exist. It was something under the house, something in the crawl space, perhaps. But the sound was so clear, so distinct, as if it were right on the surface. Driven by a mix of terror and a desperate need for answers, I grabbed a crowbar from my toolbox. The entrance to the crawl space was a small, dusty hatch in the back of a closet. I hadn't opened it since I moved in. With trembling hands, I pried it open. A wave of musty, damp air hit me. I shone my flashlight into the darkness. A maze of pipes and support beams stretched out before me. Nothing. I took a deep breath and called out, my voice shaking. "Hello, is anyone there?" Only the echo of my own voice answered. I was about to close the hatch, defeated, ready to just sell the house and run. But then my light caught something. Scratched into the dirt floor just beneath the living room were marks. Deep grooves forming a long, straight line from one end of the foundation to the other. A path, and at the end of that path, half buried in the earth, was a single, rotted leather shoe. It was old, impossibly old. The kind you might see in a museum. And it was incredibly heavy, with a thick iron sole. My light trembled as I followed the path back, and that's when I saw it. The source of the footsteps. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a ghost. It was the house itself. The main support beam, the very spine of the bungalow, was slowly, imperceptibly shifting. With each microscopic movement, it would lift and drop a fraction of an inch against the foundation. Thud, thud, thud. The entire house was walking. A slow, relentless crawl across its own foundation, dragging itself through the earth. Why? I had no idea, but I suddenly understood the chilling twist to this whole nightmare. The realtor had told me the house had been moved here decades ago from another plot of land. I'd thought it was just a quirky piece of history. Now I see the truth. They didn't just move the house. They disturbed it. They took it from its home. And ever since, it's been trying to walk back. I still live here. I've gotten used to the sound now. Sometimes, when the night is quiet, I swear I can feel the slight lurch of the floor beneath me. I don't know where we're going, but every night we take another step. It turns out some footsteps don't need a floor to walk on. Sometimes the house itself is the one doing the walking. Thanks for sticking with me through that unsettling tale. If you enjoy stories that get under your skin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Drop a comment below and let me know the creepiest sound you've ever heard in your home. Stay safe and see you in the next video.